Hey everybody, how's it going? Campo here, welcome back to the channel. So we've got a couple days before the Alliance War season starts, and there are a couple videos that I want to be getting out. These are basically going to be quick guides, quick rotation guides for some of the new champions that I pulled out of the crystal. So today we're going to talk about Sersi, and then a little bit later this afternoon I'm also going to do one for Kitty Pryde. And the point of these videos is, let's say you've been popping featured crystals, you just pulled this champion, and you really have no idea how to play them, what the main rotation is, what their main mechanics are. That's kind of what I'm going to try to do in this video, is to explain to you sort of how all the mechanics work together, what the special attacks do. In the case of Sersi, you know, the difference between throwing a special attack close to the champion versus throwing it far away, and all the different effects that that does. And then hopefully you can use this information to kind of sift through their abilities and start testing them on your own, so that you might be able to delve a little bit more into the utility. So before we get started with a couple video examples, I also want to steer you in the direction of my fellow YouTuber DLL. His channel and specifically a video about Sersi are going to be in this description. Simply because he's one of the first people I know to rank her to rank 3. I think a few other people have done so for defense, but he definitely is doing it with his eye on her for offensive purposes. And even though today's guide from me is just going to be a very basic let's get started with Sersi type thing, I do think in the near future you're going to be seeing some really interesting Sersi gameplay on his channel. When Sersi first came out, there was a little bit of a think tank between Vega, DLL, and myself, where we were looking specifically at her glancing buff and how this can interact with a lot of things in the game. And it's very similar to Proxima Midnight's block, where if you basically parry or take a blocked hit while the glancing is up, it's going to reduce all the offensive abilities of the champion you're facing. So this has some very interesting implications on stuff like Hard Knock Life, Stunning Reflection, Bubble Shields, and Vega has sort of showed that in a very early review of Sersi as well. So I'm also going to link that video. But as I said, today we're mostly going to just be looking about how to get the most on attack, how to access her regen, how to access true damage. Those are the 3 basic things you need to know about her rotation. And with that, let's get into the video. Okay, so next up we're going to be showing the rank 2 unduped Sersi against this vanilla fight. The fight goes by rather quickly, so I'm going to show it twice. The first time give you a little bit more play-by-play, the second time analysis. We're ending our combos with medium hits. I think I'm doing 4-hit combos now. The goal is to build up to a special 2 with as many transmutation buffs as possible, and you get those things by doing medium ending combos. I got the glancing buff on me because his medium attack hit me hard enough to proc it. It kind of reminds me of Thing's protection, where if they hit you hard enough, it will start. When you have the glancing buff on you, your transmutations build faster. Once they get over 5, they begin falling off. So there's a little bit of a race to the special 2, but as you can see, we took the special 2 to convert all those transmutation buffs into Furies. And then now I'm in the part of the rotation where basically I just need to chain my special 1s, and if I throw my special 1s from a distance, then I'm going to be able to permanently refresh these 12 Fury buffs. So I kind of step back into it. It's always going to be unblockable, and it's always going to proc a stun debuff. The unblockable comes as long as there's at least 1 transmutation buff on them. So once again, we're going to look at this thing one more time. Medium ending combos. You basically can get 5 permanent transmutation buffs on you, and then I'm going to let him hit my block here to get the glancing. Now we are doubling up on our transmutations, so I'm doing everything I can in my power to build as many as I can. You can max out at 15 Furies, but it's kind of unpractical. There with 12 Furies, we still got a 40k hit there. I mean, 12 is plenty, and it's pretty sustainable to get between 10 and 12. And then now in this damage rotation, I'm just trying to get over 1 bar of power and throw it. You can throw it right into his block. As long as you throw it from a distance, you're always going to be able to refresh these Furies, and then you're in really good shape. So now, once again, I have permanently stacked these 12 Furies. The thing I really like about this special 1 is it's unblockable, so it's always going to connect, and it has a stun after it. which means that you're going to be able to get right in there and continue building power. It's a very nice thing. So in this fight, we're actually taking a look at a rank 1-1. This is basically like a maxed out 4-star with the 12 Furies, still very respectable damage, but I wanted to show something else. When you throw a special 1 close by them, you'll notice there's a new buff in our kit, and this is the true damage buff. Now, against somebody like Deadpool, this is not very important to have true damage, but what true damage does is it goes through resistances and armor. And there are certainly a lot of champs in the game. You know, Nimrod comes to mind, where armor breaks or armor removal don't really work. So when you can have a true damage buff, you basically don't have to worry about any of this, you know, any of those annoying like 80% physical resistance lanes. So the reason this clip is in here is the alternate rotation. I started this exactly the same, but then I threw one special 1 close by the opponent to get this true damage, and then I can permanently refresh it by doing the same thing, doing the special 1s from a distance. Finally, we're going to look at the regen. So at this point, I'm face tanking at the beginning of the fight, and we're going to get this all back. So this is another vanilla fight. The only difference is we face tanked all that damage at the beginning. The glancing buff actually, absorbed a lot of that damage. But what we're going to do once again is build to our special 2 so that we can get as many Furies as possible, because the regen comes off of the special 2 from a distance. So we've already talked about the special 1 close by, the special 1 from a distance. We've talked about the special 2 close by, which gives you the Furies. What you're about to see is the special 2 from a distance, which is where you get the lifesteal. And I'm going to summarize all this stuff at the end. So I throw a special 1 because I was worried my Furies were going to fall off. We use that stun buff to continue building power. And my next move is I want to build to just over 2 bars of power so that we can throw the special 2. We can take advantage of all these transmutation buffs and these Fury buffs to get a big lifesteal. We throw it right into the block. All the hits crit at the beginning, which basically brings us back to full health. So as you look back here, just take a look at these green numbers. This is how much we're regenning. We went from about 50 all the way up to 100 just because some of these hits crit and it was a lifesteal. And that's just very, very nice to see. We love to see a champ that has good damage, that has the true damage, that has the glancing, and then also this insane regen potential. So the last 2 things I want to talk about is just one more time to go over what the special attacks do in case if you missed it or it went by too quickly. The special 2 at a close distance will convert all of your transmutations into Furies. The special 1 from a distance is going to refresh your Furies or true damage. The special 1 close up is going to apply that true damage in the first place. So that's why in the first videos we saw, the rotation was basically throw the special 2 close, then throw the special 1 far away, and then throw the special 1 close, and then keep refreshing the true damage and the Furies by throwing the special 1 far away. In the last fight, we also saw that when you throw the special 2 from far away, you get that big lifesteal. That's really all you need to know. It's kind of like Apocalypse, where you need to be keeping track of what combo you throw before the special, only instead of that, it's like how close am I to the opponent. You're always going to get that nice unblockable buff when you throw it from a distance, as long as you have some transmutation. It's quite nice. And the last thing, just to briefly talk about the SIG. The SIG doesn't have a lot of implications on offense. It gives you a power gain buff when your glancing expires, which can certainly help with the upkeep of everything. Just more power is always a nice thing when you need to get to your specials. But you can see even with the unduped version, I was able to pretty easily get to all my special attacks when I needed to, and it wasn't much of a problem. The other part of the duped ability will give her the regeneration buffs that are annoying on defense, but these require getting hit, so they don't always have the best implication on offense, except for being an additional safety net. So anyway, I hope that this gave you a little bit of an idea about her main rotation, and that you can start using your Sersi. I do think she's a very good character. I think she's slightly underrated currently. The damage is there, and I think we'll see more uses for her utility over time, and the fact that she's a cosmic with regen is something also that I like very much. Thanks again for coming by, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.